Hi. It's nice to change it up today. And I wanted to spend a bit of time off the record speaking to you whilst we're on a walk in the Provençal countryside. Because there's a few things that I suppose I wanted to get off my chest. So I'm someone who speaks about how to deal with life changing and what decisions to make and how we can let go of things so we can move on into our new lives and how we can transform and be in that process of going into that, from the mush of the chrysalis into that beautiful butterfly. But essentially, I'm about expressing myself so that my full aliveness can come across. Because actually that's what I do. That's what I do best. And when I do that, I know that you feel it. And when you first seek to go on YouTube, or you want to have a business, or you want to do something different, the first thing that you will be sort of asked to zone in on is, who are you helping? You know, what's the problem that you're solving? And then very quickly, you can go down a rabbit hole of loads of YouTube videos on how to create the video, how to package your content, how to talk about this, how to talk about that. And very quickly, your authenticity can go out the window a little bit. And I say a little bit because the way I've been talking to you, I have loved. And I don't mind structure. I'm someone who comes from 15 years of structure within the police service, and then my life flipped 180 and I went into from very masculine realms to feminine realms of being as opposed to doing, and that's been a process. And I'm now at that point where I'm marrying the two, and I welcome structure in my life in order to build a system where I help women feel alive again and reconnect ultimately to that power you have inside of you. And I realize the words that I'm using can sound a bit icky, but I'm going with it today. Because ultimately it is this. Whilst what I've been talking about are subjects which are obviously very close to my heart, experiences which I have lived, I have felt an element of staging with it. And the whole point of me is that, my God, I want to feel free and liberated. And within the confines of a structure of how I can build something, what I need it to be is I need to be able to gift you something which you feel from my heart to yours. And so when I want to tell you a story that might relate to the process of transformation, or when you feel sad about letting go of something, and it doesn't quite fit into the algorithm that's been suggested to me, and I have done a video that talks about not wanting to go back into the police after I made my decision to leave, because I felt that my wings had fully sort of gone out and I would have to bring them back in ever so slightly again. I think I'm going to stop a little bit because it's getting hot, and actually it's beautiful, so I just wanted to show you. Anyway, when I speak to you about this and you're like, yes, I'm really resonating with that, and yet at the same time I'm making videos where I feel, yeah, I'm going into my flow, but I don't feel 100%, then I'm then a hypocrite, because I'm not practicing what I preach. And sometimes I think, well, I'm not, because I'm not here to give you 3 steps to salvation or all of that. I'm here ultimately to make sure that I'm as joyful and alive as I can be, in the knowledge that's never going to be 100% of the time. If it's 50% of the time, that's a good thing, right? But that I do what I can in my life to do that, so that you can see and you can feel it from another person. You can feel some authentic essence. And I've posted a couple of yoga nidra practices. I guess the reason for those was just because of that. There was a sense of me feeling, hang on, you need to pause, because you've created yourself a diary and a calendar of new things that are very exciting, and you are now focused and you know exactly who you're talking to. But you always, oh, this is good, a bit of shape, need to take the time to reassess. In liberating yourself from the old structures and wanting to do things your way, there's a fine line between saying, I'm not going to apply any rules now, I'm just going to do exactly as I want. And if that's what you choose to do for a time, then that's good. And then quite another when you have tasted that freedom and then realize that the freedom has been with a lack of boundaries. So you find those boundaries again, but you don't want those boundaries to be the same as what they have been before. I just want to be true. I just want to be honest. I just want to reach you and speak to you in the way that I speak to you. And with practice, the speech patterns maybe will make more sense or be more coherent. But if I'm always talking about trusting and trusting your intuition and trusting in your skill, and if I have found that, and according to my astrology, of course, that's another thing that I want to really talk about, and it will come, then I must just speak like this without the need to edit much out. There are some things that can be edited out, because the whole point, of course, of being on here on YouTube is because I want to be able to express myself a bit longer than I would talk to you if I was doing a 30-second thing on Instagram or whatever. What I want to address is the fear. The fear when we want to be ourselves, we desperately want to be ourselves, and we feel the freedom and the liberation when we let ourselves go into who we are, how we speak, how we dance, how we, whatever your thing is. And that's what we want to bring to the world. But we know the world tells us, yeah, but you need to do it this way. And you do it this way, and it kind of clips your wings a little bit. And then you hear the world saying to you, well, yes, I know, but people are not going to understand. Might just stay here for a while. It's in the shade. Can you hear that? The fear. The fear that if you are yourself and you speak as yourself, that you haven't got a clear 3-step guide to helping people, so they're not going to hook in to your message. They're not going to listen in. They're not going to be there with you for the whole of the time. The fear that I've changed it up again and my views will decrease dramatically. Not that they were anything astronomical anyway. But all of that the chatter in my mind as I feel the sun on my skin and I hear the flow of this water behind me, and I'm looking at just this beautiful scenery and I'm allowing it to hold me and envelop me as I feel the noise in my head which says, you're not going to post this, are you? Because it's a load of rubbish. And I'm not saying this for it to be a pity party. I'm not saying it because I need it to be about me. I'm saying it because it applies to you. And in everything that I've been looking at, it's been about, you mustn't make it about you. You must make it about who you're speaking to. They're the one in your presence. They're the one tuning in for a reason. So what are you solving for them? I'm giving you truth. My God, do we need truth right now? And there may be recipes for the perfect lighting. Here it is. Here's the perfect lighting. Recipes for the perfect way to prepare your speech. Yes, there is that. But there's also this. I'm gonna go now because I am sweating like a pig. Do pigs sweat? God knows. Anyway. I'm going to leave you here, put these shades back on, I can't even see myself anymore, and bid you, no, I'm going to take them off because I want to see you. I'm going to bid you an amazing day, and thank you for being here. Genuinely, I want to connect. I want to connect with you so badly. I want to bring you back to life. And I do this by being alive myself. That's the value. And there is a time for bogging yourself down with loads of information and learning. But there comes a point where you have to integrate that learning and take from it what you feel is useful and take away from it what is not yours. And there has to be a time where you do drop into a yoga nidra, or you take space, or you go for a swim, or you go for a walk, and you just go, well, what is me? Who is me? And allow that to shine through. And that'll be all for today. And I've got my head going, well, that was a load of nonsense. And I've got another part that's saying, well done, Soph. Just post it and let that be that. All is well. Lots of love to you.